Okay, thank you all for being here and welcome to our information session about the Education PhD program at Oregon State University. Here in this first slide, you see our building. This is Furman Hall. This is where our offices and most of our classrooms are located on the Corvallis campus. So tonight, we've done some introductions. We're going to talk about why pursue a PhD in education, what makes Oregon State's Education PhD program unique, what does the PhD program look like, and then some next steps. I also put a flyer here, so if you are nearby, we will be having an open house on Thursday, November 2nd at 6 p.m. on the 4th floor of Furman Hall, and that will just be an opportunity to observe a class, to see Furman Hall, to see where a lot of our graduate student offices are located, and to meet some current students who will be there as well. So you're welcome to RSVP to the email you've been using to contact me, and hopefully you can show up. Okay, so why pursue a PhD in education? This will give you a chance to...
I'm listening to a Zoom thing I have to have for my PhD.
Sorry. Okay, this will give you the chance to study advanced educational theory, research methodology, and content, and learn important skills to become an educational researcher or leader in an educational setting. So a lot of our doctoral students work in K-12, but a lot of them don't. We work across educational settings, whether it be higher education or community educational settings or any number of places where people work on education and teaching and learning. We are a research program, so we focus on research and practice, but we do prepare students to be in a research setting. We prepare students to conduct their own quantitative, qualitative, mixed method, or other research, community-based research, arts-based research, to analyze problems, test new ideas, and explore solutions to pressing issues in educational settings. And we see equity as one of the most pressing issues in education, and we all focus on that in one way or another. Also, to contribute to the knowledge base about important issues impacting national and international education and education systems. So what makes Oregon State's education program so unique? Our program is small and very individualized. Currently, our ratio is about 3 students to every 1 faculty. Our faculty are active researchers and leaders in their respective fields. You may have read some of our publications, may have seen our work, may have read about our research. We promote and are committed to equitable practices and ideologies in education. As I mentioned, equity is a priority for us. We are flexible, accommodating both full-time and part-time degree seekers. And with each new cohort, we tend to have a pretty good split between full-time and part-time students. Our students coming from Oregon, as well as other states and internationally, are curious, talented, diverse group of committed scholars who become part of your professional network. We do focus on building community and building social network amongst all of the PhD students in our program. Okay, so what makes Oregon State graduate education more broadly unique? So Oregon State is Oregon's best public research university. We're a Tier 1 research institution. We're a land-grant institution where OSU believes that everybody deserves an extraordinary education that's attainable and accessible. So land-grant means it's for the people, by the people, and to meet the needs and the pressing problems of the people of the region. We have really great grad school resources. For example, we have the Graduate Writing Center, that works with graduate students and assists with theses and dissertations, seminar papers, manuscripts, IRB material, funding, and research proposal, as well as conference and defense presentations. The Graduate Writing Center helps with timely graduation for students. We have a very close relationship with the Graduate Writing Center and have even co-built some curriculum around writing that is in our PhD program. Our graduate school has a number of competitive awards. Most of these awards students get nominated for by the program or the department. There are also some awards by the college or the grad school that students can apply for themselves. However, most are program nominated. So what does a PhD program look like? So a student would work closely with their major professor who has expertise in the option, so one of the three options, and research topic and or methods that relate to the student's interests. Average time to completion is about 4 to 5 years. Full-time coursework is 3 courses per term. We are on a quarter system, so that means there is fall term, winter term, and spring term. So for each of those 3 terms, full-time means 3 courses for each of those terms. Part-time would be 1 to 2 courses per term. Coursework includes required methodology classes, as well as content coursework related to the student's interests. So some master's level coursework can be transferred to meet some doctoral degree requirements if minimum criteria are met. Many students have the opportunity to work as teaching and or research assistants or on faculty grants to gain experience and funding support. So funding your graduate education. So OSU has significant award and funding programs for graduate students. Again, there is the website. You can look at the number of awards that the grad school offers. You can get more information at that website. Some major professors may be able to provide funding through external grants to support their research projects. That varies from year to year, professor to professor, moment to moment, because grants are, set periods of time, so that can vary. Major professors will assist students to apply for funding from sources that are appropriate to the student's program of study and level of academic achievement. Graduate student funding may be available from the College of Education through graduate teaching and research assistantships. Again, that's primarily the research assistantships that are related to the external grants. Doctoral students are strongly encouraged to be prepared to self-fund their doctoral studies as there's no guaranteed funding for graduate students. We have some part-time students who get help funding from their school district if they're currently employed by a school district that offers that kind of funding. We have some graduate students who work for Oregon State University or in the Oregon University system and are able to use some faculty benefits that help support the tuition. So there are lots of ways to fund your graduate education, and it will be different from student to student. So as we mentioned, there are 3 options. You will choose at least one option when you apply. You have to specify that on the application. So we have agricultural education. That's actually language equity and education policy, LEAP, science and mathematics education. So I will mention a little bit about each of those. And then when I'm done with that, we will actually go into breakout rooms where you will be able to talk with our faculty about each of those options more specifically. The agricultural education program, I don't think I saw that anybody was interested in that option at the moment. But that requires 108 credits, and they have these specific courses. I'll let you take a moment to look at those. So each option has a set of specific courses to that option. And other students can take those courses, but those are required for the students that are in that option. The LEAP option also requires 108 credits. these are the specific courses that LEAP students must take. And again, often other students take these courses, but the LEAP students must take these courses. We have a course on equity and education policy, on research bilingualism and multilingualism, on ethnographic methods, and on discourse identity and education. And then the third option is the science and math ed option, which requires 112 credits. This is a longer list of courses here by a little bit. So there is 2 full years of seminar. Everybody takes the first year of seminar. LEAP and science and math take the first year of seminar, and then science and math students take an additional year of seminar. There's a survey of research on teaching, learning theory, survey of research on learning, curriculum theory, and critical pedagogy. And again, I'll reiterate that many other students take some of these courses, but science and math students must take these courses. Okay, so I am going to open up breakout rooms. I'm going to let everybody choose the room that they would like to go to, but please only choose the LEAP option or the science and math option. I do not think we're going to have anybody in the agriculture ed option. So please only choose LEAP or science and math, and faculty will join you in that breakout room to answer questions and have a little bit more of a specific conversation. Is that clear to everybody? You will have a little pop-up and you will select which one you want to go to. Do not choose the agricultural education.
Kathryn, it looks like you're trying to talk, but you're muted right now.
Thank you. I apologize. So I hope you got your questions answered. Looked like there was great conversation. I am going to go ahead and tell you a couple more things that I have on these slides, and then there may be time for some more questions. So just a little bit about our community. As I said earlier, this is Furman Hall, where we have our offices, and graduate students have their offices and classrooms. It was renovated in about 10 years ago. It was renovated, so it's really beautiful and lovely inside. I welcome you again to come on November 2nd if you're able to. So these are some pictures from around the area. So we have beautiful mountains and rivers, and you can go skiing, and we're close to the coast. You can go to the beach and the coast, lots of hiking, lots of outdoors, lots to do near Corvallis, especially in terms of nature. So it's a beautiful area. So next steps. I encourage you to reach out with questions to the email, the EDU PhD lead Oregon State email. Submit an application between now and December. December 1st is our priority deadline for funding. So faculty will start to look at the applications in December. So I encourage you to apply in December by December 1st. It doesn't actually close until January 2nd, but I do encourage you to apply by December 1st. So as I mentioned, at least in our breakout room, you do not need to secure a faculty member's agreement for your application prior to admission. The faculty in our program make admissions decisions jointly based upon application reviews. It's a really good idea to go on the websites and to find out a little bit about what faculty do for research, and to make it clear in your application how you see alignment between your interests and one or two or three faculty members' research interests. That helps us a lot as we're holistically trying to look at these applications. So do some research about what faculty are interested in. We look at GPA, your background experience, your research and scholarly activities. If you have any publications or presentations, you don't have to, but if you do, put them in there. Your career plans, your goals or objectives for your career are really important. Clarity in your goals and objectives for your career. Your students' research areas and how it fits with current faculty expertise, and then your letters of reference and your current CV. So that is all of the presentation that I have for you. We have about 5 minutes or so left, so I'm happy to take any questions if you have them. Okay, do any of the faculty have any final thoughts, final words?
Katie, you got a question? I see a hand.
Question, yes, thank you.
Thanks. I was just curious about support groups amongst graduate students, whether that's just like what exists for sort of the mental / academic lives of grad students.
Yeah, there are lots of options. So since the very beginning of the program, we make it really a big deal and a priority to build cohorts. We have a cohort model. So you'll get to know folks that start with at the same time you do, but also a year out, because a lot of our courses run in 2-year cycles. So that actually allows you to have a couple different years together, and you'll get to know your colleagues. We have part of the curriculum is for you to have writing groups. So again, a way of building community around support for your academic world that becomes quickly support for your social, your life, your social being, your humanity. So we really focus a lot on building community and on these groups. We also have, as I mentioned, we have the Graduate Writing Center that also has these groups that meet weekly that you can sign up for. So it's another way to build community. And, maybe they focus around writing, but it's also just a way for peers to support one another. On campus itself, there's CAPS, which is psychological services. We have student health centers. We have different cultural centers. There's a women's center. There's a Pride Center. There's a Cesar Chavez Cultural Center. There's a Native American Longhouse. There's Asian Pacific Islander. There's Et Ired Cultural Center. We have a lot of different types of centers on campus to also support students. And I'm sure I'm missing the many, many other opportunities. If faculty have any other things that I've missed, feel free to chime in.
Just one more, getting involved with a faculty member and their research team, that often becomes a support group that students who work together on a project like that end up doing a lot of other things together too.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.
I would add that there are sometimes teaching opportunities, and that often will also bring students together.
Yeah.
As well as research lectures on campus several times a year. Throughout the 3 quarters, there are lecture series. So that'll give you an opportunity to meet those who are engaged in research, maybe in your field, maybe in a field adjacent, or in a completely different discipline. But it also gives you an opportunity to think about interdisciplinary research as well, and collaborating across the campus.
Yes, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Maybe we have time for one more question if there is one. Okay. Final thoughts? Okay, thank you so much for coming and joining this information session. I really appreciate it. Feel free to reach out via email if you have more questions. We look forward to hearing from you. Have a good night.